Hi, thank you for teaching our Hevruta this week. We are in the book of Exodus in Parshat Bo, and we're going to be on pages 39 to 41 of the Our Hevruta booklet. This week's Torah portion covers the last 3 plagues of the 10 plagues in Egypt: locusts, darkness, and the killing of the firstborn. It also talks about making matzah, cleansing our homes of leaven to celebrate Passover, the bitter herbs, and also mentions wearing tefillin. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out that stands out to me as a good conversation starter is the idea of the plague of darkness. The Torah describes the plague of darkness saying that it was so thick, the darkness, that one couldn't even see their fellow. Now, the Hasidic rabbis suggest that that's the worst kind of plague, one in which we cannot even see each other. So it might be interesting to talk about in what ways do we not see each other's faces anymore? Sometimes even in our intimate family circles, we might not recognize each other. Another person might appear as a stranger to us because of how they've been affected by hurt, by bitterness, by anger. What are the other ways that the plague of darkness afflicts us today? Who are the invisible people in our society? Who made this scarf? Who made this sweater? Who fashioned these glasses? Who brings us light? Who works in the coal mines? All of the people who are in our shadow economy, who we don't see and we therefore often don't appreciate. Who are the people that we don't see? And the very act of not seeing them, not acknowledging them, how does that affect our capacity for compassion? So how do we work to continue to relieve ourselves of this plague of darkness that continues to afflict us? How do we really see each other, see past the unshed tears, see past our differences, past our own prejudices, and really see deeply? What does it mean to see and be seen? Passover is an interesting thing to discuss. Also different rituals that people have, and also matzah. What is the difference between matzah and leaven, matzah and chametz? For me, I always think of bread as prose and matzah as poetry. Prose is filled with fluff and description, and poetry is essence. So matzah is really the essence. What is the essence? Matzah, the Passover message, might be that the essence is freedom, but maybe other people have a different idea of what the essence of everything really is. So that might be something interesting to talk about. And then what is the fluff? What is that stuff that every Passover we're supposed to get rid of all the leaven? What is the extra stuff that clutters our lives and makes it harder for us to achieve and appreciate and work toward that essence, that thing that we hold the most dear? Now, some other things to point out. In the Midah section of value, it talks about an important value in Judaism called tochacha, which means rebuke or criticism. Now, criticism is really important. Actually, the rabbis say that you can't really, loving someone without rebuking them is not a real kind of love. But we also know that if you criticize someone too much, that also doesn't feel good. But even Abraham, as it points out, came forward to God and said, "Will you sweep away the innocent along with the guilty?" That was a criticism, a rebuke of God even. And that's interesting that we're allowed to do that. So we're supposed to it's more important to criticize someone when they need guidance. You know, I know people who really, when everybody tells you all the time, "Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, what you did is so great. Oh, everything is so wonderful that you do," you're not really getting the guidance that you need. So what are the best ways to offer constructive criticism, or when someone's actually doing something really wrong, to offer real criticism and say, "You should not be doing that"? How do you do that? How do you tell a friend to take care of themselves better if you think that they're not taking care of themselves? Or if you think that a friend is doing something wrong, how do you tell them? How do you tell a parent? How do you tell a sibling? It's a really hard thing to offer rebuke. So another thing is in the mitzvah section, one of the great mitzvahs is actually telling our children the Passover story. And in Judaism, the act of storytelling is actually a value. It's something really important. It's a commandment to tell our stories. And there's a wonderful story here on page 41 where the Baal Shem Tov, who's the founder of the Hasidic movement, he goes to every time the Jews are in trouble, he goes to a special place in the woods, lights a fire, and says a special prayer, and the people are saved. But the next generation, they don't remember where the place in the woods is. So he offers the prayer and the special fire, and still the people are saved. And then the next generation, they forget how to do the fire, and the next generation, they forget the prayer, and until they just say, listen, I don't know where the place in the woods is. I don't know the special fire. I don't know the prayer, but the people are in trouble. And what I do know is the story. And the story is accepted and the people are saved. So there's, in Judaism, this redemptive power to stories and how we tell our stories. So perhaps we could share with the kids, what are your favorite stories? What are stories that have changed who you are, how you think of yourselves? Are there any stories that really stick with you? Are they true stories? Are they not true stories? Are they movies? Are they stories you've read? What are the most important stories in our lives? I wish I could be with all of you, with all of the teaching. Can't wait to hear what you come up with in your conversations. Thank you.